Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to control everything, the more chaotic life becomes, like gripping sand in your hand? The tighter you squeeze, the faster it slips away. In today's fast-paced world, we're taught to hustle, to push harder, to never rest. But Stoicism reminds us, true strength is not in force, but in stillness. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. What if you stopped chasing and started aligning? What if peace, not pressure, was the real path to progress? This video is not just a reflection, it's a tool, a moment of pause, a reset to help you deal with the modern chaos, not by fighting it, but by mastering your inner response. If you believe the world needs more calm minds and clear hearts, support this message by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Together, let's create a space for conscious living, rooted in ancient wisdom applied to modern life. Your journey begins now with one simple act: breathe. Relaxation is not surrender, it's wisdom in disguise. In a culture obsessed with doing, pushing, and achieving, relaxing is often misunderstood. It's seen as weakness, as giving up. But in Stoicism, relaxation is something else entirely. It's clarity, it's inner control disguised as stillness. Let's be clear, Stoicism never advocates for passivity. It does not tell us to sit back and let life happen to us. What it does teach us is to act from a place of reason, not reactivity, from awareness, not anxiety. You don't stop moving forward when you pause to breathe. You move forward smarter. When you are in a constant state of tension, your decisions become reactive, emotional, even reckless. But when you are calm, you gain the power of discernment. You don't just do more, you do what matters. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And here's the truth: reaction without relaxation is chaos. Relaxation gives you back control, not over the world, but over yourself. When you stop trying to force life to follow your timeline, you begin to see it unfold in ways you never expected. Because here's a paradox most people miss. The more you chase, the more things run away from you. The more you center yourself, the more the world begins to move in your favor. In a world that demands instant results, relaxation is a rebellion. It's a declaration that your value doesn't come from your speed, but your depth. Think of a surgeon's hand. It must be steady, not shaky. Think of an elite athlete, calm under pressure, not frantic. Relaxation for the Stoic is not a luxury. It's a tool, a state of performance, a state of preparedness. So what does this mean in real life? It means pausing before replying to that angry email. It means stepping back before making a rushed decision out of fear. It means understanding that urgency is often a lie we tell ourselves to feel in control. True strength, the Stoic says, lies in restraint. True wisdom lies in knowing when not to act, when to wait, when to let go. In the end, relaxing is not giving up. It's letting go of what doesn't serve your purpose, so you can focus fully on what does. Relax not to escape life, but to return to it. With deeper insight and stronger intention. The power of a calm mind, like a still lake, everything becomes clear. Imagine your mind as a lake. When it's stirred by wind, thoughts, stress, emotions, the surface becomes chaotic. You can't see through it, but when the wind dies down and the surface stills, everything underneath becomes visible. That's what a calm mind offers: clarity. In Stoic philosophy, tranquility isn't just an emotional state. It's a mental discipline, a trained response, a cultivated habit of stillness amidst the storm. Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man of his time, wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." He didn't say the forest or the mountains. He said your soul, your inner world. Because in that space, when you are still, you can truly observe. You don't just react, you reflect. You don't just move, you move with purpose. In our modern lives, distractions are constant. Notifications, deadlines, comparisons, criticism. They keep our minds in motion, often in directions we never chose. That's why most people feel overwhelmed. Not because life is inherently chaotic, but because they haven't learned to quiet the noise within. Here's the insight most people miss. The world will always be noisy. But peace doesn't begin with the world. It begins with you. When your mind is calm, your vision sharpens. You begin to notice the real priorities, the hidden opportunities, the moments of grace that were invisible before. It's the difference between reacting out of panic and responding with wisdom. Think of any great leader, artist, or thinker. They don't operate from mental chaos. They create space within themselves to think clearly, choose wisely, and act deliberately. The Stoics taught that serenity is not found in the absence of adversity, but in how you meet it. Your external life reflects your internal state. If your mind is turbulent, your actions will be scattered. If your mind is clear, your direction becomes obvious. So how do you achieve this calm? It begins with simple practices. Take a deep breath before reacting. Create moments of stillness throughout your day. Question your thoughts instead of believing all of them. Return to the present again and again. And remember, you don't need to control the ocean. You only need to still the boat you're sailing. Calm is not passivity. Calm is power under control. Let your mind be like a still lake, because only then can you see the reflection of who you truly are and where you're meant to go. The Stoic art of relaxed action. Doing less, but doing what matters. In today's world, urgency is a drug. You wake up and feel like you're already behind. You chase deadlines, chase success, chase validation. But what if the chase itself is the problem? The Stoics believe that it's not how much you do, but how well you do what truly matters. In a society that glorifies hustle and multitasking, this philosophy sounds radical, but it's more relevant now than ever. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Let that sink in. We waste time not only through laziness, but also through distraction, disguised as productivity. We fill our calendars, but not our purpose. We're busy, but often not better. Stoicism invites us to slow down, not to become passive, but to become precise. When you act from a place of internal calm, you're not chasing outcomes, you're creating them with intent. The modern mind is cluttered with urgency. Answer now. Decide now. Fix everything now. But urgency is rarely wise. It's usually fear wearing a clever mask. So how can you live and act like a Stoic in the modern world? By mastering the art of deliberate action. Here's how. Pause before you decide. Ask yourself, is this aligned with my values, or am I just reacting to pressure? Cut the noise. Just because something demands your attention doesn't mean it deserves it. Protect your energy. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every opportunity is worth chasing. Say no more often. Every yes to the unimportant is a no to what actually matters. In Stoicism, action is sacred, but only when it flows from clarity. The goal isn't to do more, but to do with more consciousness. Relaxed action doesn't mean you stop moving. It means you move from a place of strength, not stress. You become like an archer who takes their time to aim, because once you release that arrow, you know exactly where it's going. This is the Stoic way. Less frenzy, more focus, less noise, more meaning. And in a world spinning faster every day, choosing to live with that kind of focus isn't just wise, it's revolutionary. Letting go of what no longer serves you, the hidden strength of the Stoic. In a world that constantly tells you to add more goals, more tasks, more opinions, more everything, the Stoic dares to subtract. To live better, not by doing more, but by carrying less. Less emotional baggage, less attachment to things outside your control. Less noise that drowns out your inner voice. Epictetus said it best, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Let that be your compass. Too often we get stuck in cycles of stress, frustration, and self-doubt, not because we're lazy or incapable, but because we're holding on to things we were never meant to carry. What are you clinging to right now? Is it the need for everyone's approval? The desire to control outcomes that are not yours to decide? The guilt of mistakes long past? Stoicism teaches us that emotional weight is a choice, and so is freedom. Letting go is not weakness, it's strength in its purest form. It means you're no longer spending your energy on things that drain your peace. Imagine this, you're carrying a backpack full of rocks. Each rock is a worry, a grudge, a regret. You try to run forward, but you can't, because you're too weighed down by the past. The Stoic doesn't just tell you to run harder, he tells you, put the backpack down. In practical terms, this means forgiving people who never apologized, not for them, but for your peace. Releasing the need to win every argument because your energy is worth more than your ego. Accepting uncertainty as a natural part of life, because control's an illusion, but choice is real. You don't have to fix everything, you don't have to please everyone. You only have to act with virtue, clarity, and presence. When you let go, you reclaim your mental space, your emotional balance, and your freedom to choose. And what happens when you stop clinging? You become lighter, clearer, more focused, more powerful. Because now your actions are no longer driven by fear, they're guided by purpose. The Stoics remind us, you don't control the winds, but you can adjust your sails. So today, choose to let go of one thing that no longer serves you. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. That single act may just change everything. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you're ready for. Everyone wants something, a better job, a deeper relationship, more peace, more success, more meaning. But wanting is not enough. The Stoics knew that life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you're ready to receive. As Seneca wrote, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You don't attract your desires simply by wishing harder. You attract them when your character is aligned with them. When you've done the inner work to deserve them. When you've cultivated the discipline, the clarity, and the patience to hold them without being consumed by them. This is the quiet secret of Stoic manifestation. Become the kind of person who naturally draws the life you dream of. Let's bring this down to earth. You want respect? Then act with integrity, even when no one's watching. You want love? Then live with kindness and boundaries, especially with yourself. You want peace? Then stop inviting chaos into your mind by obsessing over what you can't control. Most people live in a constant loop of craving and complaining. Craving things they haven't earned and complaining about why they haven't received them. But Stoicism cuts through this noise. It says, if you want better, be better. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. When your actions reflect your values, when your emotions are governed by reason, when your mind is still and sharp, opportunities start to arrive. Not because you chase them, but because you're finally ready to carry them. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't demand fruit the day after you plant the seed. You water it. You nurture it. You give it time, space, and sunlight. And eventually, without force, the fruit appears. The same is true for you. Instead of focusing on what's missing from your life, focus on who you're becoming. Do your habits reflect the future you say you want? Do your thoughts support the peace you claim to seek? Do your choices speak the language of the life you envision? Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardship. It's about becoming strong enough to shape your own reality. So the next time you wonder why your life hasn't changed, don't look outside, look within. Because the answer is already there. You attract not what you want, but who you are. Morning rituals. Begin your day like a Stoic. Own your life with intention. Mornings shape your entire day. They are the first breath of your choices, the quiet moment before the world makes its demands. The Stoics knew the power of beginnings. Marcus Aurelius each morning reminded himself, "Today, I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Not out of pessimism, but to prepare his mind, so he wouldn't be surprised by difficulty and wouldn't lose his peace. Modern life is noisy from the moment we wake up. Emails, news, notifications, the urgency of a world rushing to nowhere. But you have a choice. You can let the day take you, or you can meet it with clarity, direction, and strength. The first 30 minutes of your morning are sacred, not because they are magical, but because they're when your mind is most open to influence. So instead of starting with stress, start with stillness. Instead of grabbing your phone, grab a moment of presence. Here's how a Stoic morning can look in today's world. 1. Breathe before you think. Take a deep breath before the first thought hijacks your mind. Inhale calm, exhale tension. This one act reminds you, you are in control. 2. Reflect on who you want to be today. Don't chase goals blindly. Ask yourself, what kind of character do I want to embody today? Kind, focused, disciplined, grounded. Choose and return to it when the day tests you. 3. Practice gratitude, not for perfection, but for presence. List 3 things, big or small, you're thankful for. Gratitude doesn't ignore your problems. It gives you perspective to face them. 4. Set one core intention, not a to-do list of 15 items, but one guiding principle, like respond calmly, focus on what matters, or let go of what I can't control. Why does this matter? Because if you don't program your mind for the day, the world will. And the world doesn't care about your peace, your growth, or your values. You do. A Stoic morning isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. When you start with clarity, you move with purpose. When you begin with stillness, you navigate chaos with grace. You don't need more hours in the day, you need more presence in the hours you already have. So tomorrow morning, try something different. Don't wake up into stress. Wake up into strength. Own your first moment, and the rest will follow. Calm is not the end goal. It's the beginning of real power. Let's return to where we started. You don't need to control the entire world. You only need to master the space within yourself. Because when your mind is calm, your life starts to reflect that clarity. This is not a feel-good message. It's a call to inner leadership. A reminder that the strongest person in the room is often the quietest, not because they have nothing to say, but because they know when to speak and when to simply be. The Stoics taught us, peace is not found by avoiding life's chaos, but by walking through it with intention and perspective. And that's the invitation in front of you now. Not to become someone else, but to return to who you've always had the power to be. You don't need more motivation, you need alignment. You don't need louder answers, you need quieter reflection. You don't need to force life to happen, you need to make space for it to unfold. So breathe, let go, and act, not out of fear or frenzy, but from calm, grounded purpose. If something in this message spoke to you today, if a single sentence shifted how you see your challenges, your mornings, your choices, then I invite you to do 2 things. First, leave a comment below. Tell us what resonated most with you. What will you let go of today? What part of your life are you ready to meet with calm? And second, share this video with someone who might need it. A friend stuck in overwhelm, a colleague chasing peace, or maybe a version of your past self. Because when we practice Stoicism in daily life, not just in theory but in action, we don't just feel better, we become better. Thank you for being here, thank you for listening. And above all, thank you for choosing presence over pressure. The world needs more calm minds. Let's start with yours.